Yeah, it's Sebastian again. Gonna play some more online. Yeah, hopefully it's getting light out. I don't know if I want to run on foot or horse. We'll try horse, seeing I got my controlled riding. Take out a pet. Let's try star. And we're off. Let's see if she'll throw me. I don't know how good she is. It's been a long time. Alright, today I just kind of wanted to go over getting around. I know I had a video before where I was doing safe travel, and that's kind of secondary, I guess, to this, but this is pretty much for a newer person just trying to get the idea how the world is and how you can get around. I mean, I kind of treated it, when I first started, we didn't have a compass or anything, so we kind of had to use landmarks and stuff like that. So you still can use it, you just gotta think like you're in the real world. See things like roads and coastlines, and there's a river along the middle, and mountaintop, high mountains and stuff like that. You use that kind of thing. So like when you first leave here, you see this road, so if you hung out by this road always, just moved off a little, say I head off that way, well, I know all I gotta do is turn around and come back this way, and eventually I'll hit this road. That's kind of how you break things off into chunks. So just for starters, though, I'm just to say this is Tindrem, where a lot of newer people start, so I figured I'd start from here, and just say right off the bat that this is pretty far to the north and almost to the west coast. When we get right over here over this hill, we'll see that it's the ocean. This is pretty much the coast. This horse probably might not be the best thing to be running around on, but alright, see, so right there, this is the ocean to the west. Even though, yeah, we're facing the west. There's north, and the city is basically right on the northwest of the continent. So if you went past the city over the mountain, then the water's still just going right around the back of this. So we're basically in the northwest corner. If you follow this coastline down here, it'll turn to desert, and Meduli's right down there. You can't miss it. If you follow this coast, you'll hit Meduli. And from the desert, or here, if you head to the east, you're eventually going to run into a river system that heads north and south. From the north part of the continent anyway. Once you get too far south past the lake, there's a lake down there, then the river system breaks up a little bit and it gets a little more messy down there. But the north part of the continent is pretty much divided by a river. So if you don't pass the river when you're to the north, you'll know which part you're in. You can't really get over without crossing the river. So you can kind of lock yourself into one area to learn it at first. We'll go ahead and walk slow and let this thing charge up. Normally I wouldn't hang out on the streets at all. You see my traveling safe video, you'd see it. I'd more likely be hiding along the edges and up in the mountains and stuff, down in the valleys. See, we're in the wide open right now. But this is just the idea that the road is a thing that can pretty much tell you where you're at. You can figure out where you're at using the road. Can't really see up there yet. The place is called the Colored Forest. It used to stick out a lot more than it does now. I don't know if that's really it right there or not when you cut through, but that's something to note too when you're walking around, because you can see it from both sides. Right along there you can cut across to the desert, pop out on the other side. If we make it that far, we'll see it from the other side as well. For now we're sticking to the road. And again, if you were actually really doing this, and you don't have to be running right down the road, you could be up along that thing as long as you know where right there is the road. You know, or you could be hiding, you could be up in the mountains. You know, but once you get to the road, you find this road, you know, well, I take the road to Tindrem if I head west. I probably could be better off walking half the time here. Here comes somebody. Foot. There's somebody cruising through. Probably were worried about me. Some burr up there maybe. Oh, run into one too. Horses ain't quite as realistic, huh? I'll start walking some and let the horse rest. It's kind of weird the way that works. I can jump off the horse, let me off, have it follow me, and just run. Alright, here's another point. This point. I don't know if it's really a term people use, but I've always heard a lot that the Mount Pointy. And you can see this from a lot of places around the map. And you can almost, we used to use it, or I used to, I think a lot of people did it pretty much to figure out where north is at. It's basically a direct way. If you go to that point too, you're pretty much going to wind up in Fabrinum. Let's jump back on this horse. I don't know if it helps much or not, but at least my horse is rusted. Yeah, so we'll see this road will tee up here. And it's little things like, you know, like that rock there. And this rock over here, you know, the gazebo looking thing, I guess. The more you look around, the more stuff like that you'll find, and you'll realize, hey, I've been there before. But yeah, this T right here leads right up. See, if you go right up there, you go into Fab. And this way is pretty much heading south. But here's another lake right here. This is where the river system's actually at. This lake, if you follow this lake, or this river, branches off to a lake right up here. Or lake branches off to a river. That river runs straight into Fab. Yep, so this is the top lake to the north, and then the river shoots down that way up to Fab, and I can't remember if there's, I don't think there is a river that goes off that way, but there is one that comes down the mountain. But from this piece, you pretty much can't get to that side of the world without crossing the river. This is like the center. And then there's a red town up on that hill. That's Kernesh is up in there. But the point of me, it's not for me to really show you where everything is at. It's more the idea of knowing that where you are, trying to figure out where you are by things that you already know, like the roads and the rivers. Helps you. So if you were lost and you were running around, well, you'd come to this road and say, well, this is the road that'll take me to Tindrem or Fab. And you'd still know you haven't crossed the river, so you're still on this side of the continent. Unless you're way south, and then it's a whole nother mess down there of river systems and stuff. I'm gonna jump off this horse again. Alright, here's somebody. I don't know if that's a NPC or a real person. NPC. Alright, so just a bandit. But this bridge right here is one way across this river system without swimming. And you're right by the red town when you go over there. So not the best, maybe the best place to go. I guess I better call my horse, huh? Where are you going there, Star? Make up your mind. Hold on you. Alright, so we'll go stick on this side of the continent for now and run down the river. Oh, bandits shooting at me. We'll make our getaway. See, so first leaving the town, you might want to stick near the river system, so you can always just follow the river back to the north to find that road. And that's pretty much how I played when I first started. Is I wandered off. I started in Meduli. I just shot off to the west, and I ran into this lake up here that had the rivers, and I started following the rivers around. I actually went south first, and it was a little messier down there, but you know, as long as you can jump back on the river, you could go like explore that area and know that you could just run back here and be back on the river and know where you're at. That's kind of how I did it. It's kind of how I would do it in a real life situation as well. I would stick with the river, and then it's almost like keeping me going, where I know that I'm not doing circles or anything like that because the river's not doing a circle. Yep, so it's a lot of open space on this side. On the north part, a lot of that's all free to roam all the way back to the coast. You know, there's some hills and stuff in there, but there's no lakes or anything stopping you. Oh, better get that horse following me. So you're pretty free all the way up till you catch the lake to be able to cover this whole area without being too lost. You can just take off one way. You'll either hit the coast if you're heading that way, you'll hit the river if you're heading this way. If you go north, you'll hit Fab and Tindrem mountains. But if you head south, then you're more likely to get into some crazier stuff like the jungle and the less straight up river system. we'll go down here. I'll show you the lake that from early on, I guess. It's not the real name of it, but a lot of people call it Sausage Lake. I guess it goes back to a story where a lot of people were swimming in it naked or something like that. I don't know the exact thing, but that's pretty much why people called it Sausage Lake, or how it got that nickname or whatever, from what I hear. So yeah, all the way up to Sausage Lake, anywhere from between the river and the coast, you're pretty much safe. You can be trapped in there as long as you are not trapped, but you could stay in that section of the continent without being too lost. Like I was saying, you just have to head any way but south, and you'll wind up either hitting the river, the roads up there to between Fathom and Tindrem, or the coast, the west coast. And that's kind of, for me, that's how I would divide the whole world. Oh, man, I'm like bugged out or something. Yeah. Once you do run around like that, and then you can map out the whole, pretty much other part of the world without getting lost. See, like now, even if I was to get confused, I can't tell if I can see Mount Pointy right there. Yeah, see, there's the north. But if you know you're on this side of the river and you haven't crossed and you came to the river, even if you didn't have a compass, once you got to the river, you know you're on the west side of it. So like right now, I could know that's north because I'm on the west side of the river, and the river flows north to south at this part of the world. That was all. I mean, we have the compass now, but still, if you think that way, even using the compass or however, it helps make the world make more sense. Even though really, once you play long enough for a little while and explore the world, it's not that big. And I mean, I can get lost in certain places still, like the jungle and some of the northern mountains on the northeast side. But it's really not that bad. You can get places pretty fast, and the world's not too big. It just seems a lot bigger when you don't know the world at all. And you got a horse that you can't really move on. See, this is opening up to the lake up here, I'm sure. Oh, better get him to follow me. Yep. I wish it wasn't so dark. You'd be able to see a little better, but yeah. I even tried to use the stars a little bit before there was the compass. I don't know how well it worked, but I could get around pretty good without it. Yeah, we won't go further south past the lake. Just know that even over there on that side, the north part, with the river splitting, other than mountain ranges and stuff, a lot of that can be explored by using the river. You know, knowing if you come too far to the west, you're going to eventually hit the river, and it actually splits the river to the southern, or right down the middle here too. So if you went south, you're still going to hit a river over there. So you can divide a good chunk of this out with the river as well. Yep, and here's the lake. And like I was saying that Meduli was just south down the coast of Tindrem. We went south. Now we're just gonna walk back that way to the west until we hit the coast or Meduli, whichever one comes first. It's just by knowing that that's over there, we can do that. We're at the lake. We don't want to go no further south right now. That's a whole another piece of something to try to figure out. I'd break that up separate compared to this piece. Alright, I'm just going to jump on this horse. Get turned around a little bit here, figure out where the water's at. Alright, water's behind me. There's mountains. Straight through here. Again, you can look for the Mount Pointy. Figure out your directions. You just would want to pay attention to some of these mountains. Like I could tell you, there's, some other little towns, tribal-like towns that way. I just think it's a little harder to, not harder, but there's not as much to figure out to stick to right there when you're first starting. Unless you have this big open valley, you go into the opening there and know that you can just walk back to here. Or follow the river systems down there and you'll kind of move on and off of them and you'll get to some of the different towns. And I'm going to jump off here again. This is definitely not the best way. I got a train. Shut this window. Might help. Did I say follow? Yep. See, it's going to start to turn into desert here. Somebody here. Better get on my horse. I seen somebody. Uh-oh. I don't know if it's somebody up there or if it's just the name of that tower. Some more unique rocks out here. There's a big one. I think it's over there. There's a little farm out here. Just little things. But again, like when I'm in this point, then I could just head whatever way, even if I didn't have a compass. Anyway, well, I don't really want to go south yet. But if I had any of the 2 or 3 other directions, then I'd find my way out. Either run into the river, the coast, or the road to the north. This rock, I'm sure, had a name too. Like I said, I don't talk to enough people to know what people call half this stuff, but I'm sure that rock has a name. This farm up here, oh, someone's running around. I'll jump on the horse just because. I don't know where they went. I don't even know if they've seen me. There's a little unique little thing too in this area. Man, I can't remember for the life of me what that farm was called. I just want to get to Meduli so I can... I don't think I'm going to be able to run all the way back. If I had a better horse, I could have ran the whole circle back to Tindrem. But I think it's going to run too long. People should get the idea. If I get to the coast up here, and then that's pretty much should be enough, because all you gotta do is run right up the coastline and you'll be right back to Tindrem again. Yeah, a lot of times I don't even use a horse. I can run pretty fast. A horse probably takes more time unless I had a good one. I usually don't hang out in the open areas like this either, though. Look at my sky, there's my big rock. And there's the mountains. Even when it used to be pitch dark, I could move around in this stuff by looking at the lines and the skylines and stuff. It don't get quite as dark as it used to, not even close, unless it's bugging out. But it's not all bad. Yep, so skylines are another thing to follow. You know, you got this mountain to your right, well, you just keep it to your right and you pretty much know that you're going the way you want. Same with a river. If it was a river, I'd keep it to my right, you know, or left or whatever, depending on which way I was wanting to go. I know that that mountain's to more or less to the north, and I want to go west, so I just keep that mountain to my right. And now you can see up here, you see the ocean again, the coast. This is Meduli coming up. We're getting off this damn horse again. Yeah, I'm almost thinking that I'm making better ground on foot. So we start to see houses. We didn't go back by the colored forest when I went around, but that's alright. If you would have, right when we come down the river past that first mountain into the middle, that open area right in there from the river, if you follow that mountain where this mountain goes this way behind us, then it opens up to the colored forest and you can cut across. And there's some critters, wolves it look like. Let's get away from a little. Here's another way just to cut. If we were trying to get back to Tindrem, we could cut through there a little bit. Here comes Meduli. Yeah, see, I don't even think full speed the horse goes much faster than that. Nice thing about a horse though is you can go forward and still look around. I wish there was some way to be able to look like that when I was moving. Like even in combat or something, it seems like would be better instead of your whole body turning. Yeah, here's the little town of Meduli anyway. No, I'm going to leave a space for it to cut here. I'm not going to go into Meduli. This is just so people know. I could cut it here and leave a spot to cut here, but for now I'm going to go ahead and run off here. If the video gets way too long, then we'll cut it. Oh yeah, this is back. I'm just gonna go back here. I might be able to do a little, try to make a little money here. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut this off now. And we'll call it from that because we're right at the coast, right where we started. If you follow this coastline up, you'll wind up right over, back over, and there's Tindrem. If you just follow this up, you can't miss it. But you can also cut across a little bit once you know the way. But as long as you remember that the coast is here, you gotta go north to get there. And I'm just gonna cut this here. Have a good one.